Good morning and welcome to today's Smart Business Strategies podcast. I'm Anna Wilds, the franchise economist. I'm your host. And today I have a special guest, Mark Hargett with 1-800-Water Damage, a BELFOR company. Mark, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Anna. Thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
Well, I'm happy to have you here, and I know our audience is too, because you're going to shed some wonderful light on 1-800-Water Damage. It's a restoration company. So, Mark, start us off and tell us a little bit about you and 1-800-Water Damage.
Thanks, Anna. I've been in the restoration industry for about 36 years, 10 years as a property claims adjuster, and about 26 years in franchising. So I've been with the BELFOR family for about 8 years now. I was a regional business coach to start with for 1-800-Water Damage, so I can talk intimately about that role. But, BELFOR overall is the largest restoration provider in the world. They're in 33 countries. BELFOR Franchise Group, under that, we have 15 brands that we sell and service. So 1-800-Water Damage is predominantly a water, smoke, fire, mold restoration. And there are other avenues that an operator can get into at a later time after they learn those basic components to how to service those types of losses. Those are the most pressing losses that people have.
Mark, tell the audience what makes 1-800-Water Damage unique among restoration franchises?
Well, certainly being part and having BELFOR, the mothership, as our parent company, there are opportunities that BELFOR has that they either cannot attend to or don't want from a size point of view, because they're structured to handle industrial and commercial. So a lot of residential opportunities will be passed down to the 1-800-Water Damage operator when there's a good, solid relationship. I mean, relationships are the name of the game in this business. And so it's a franchise-focused culture. We are going to support those franchises with business coaches. We're the only restoration provider that assigns a business coach to their operation to help them in different facets of where they might be feeling like they're struggling a little bit. So, having BELFOR as part of that company is, you really can't put a number or a price tag on it, because they're the undisputed global leader in restoration. But again, they have opportunities that they can share with us because they're mainly focused on the churches and hospitals and large scale buildings. Because of the size of the scope, our franchises get referrals from them because of their need. We can accentuate them, they can accentuate us. But again, we really stress that if they don't know an operator, well, you wouldn't send work to somebody you didn't know. So that's why relationships are so important. In addition to that, being the leader in restoration, the culture, we're going to talk a lot about culture. We have a culture difference between a lot of other restoration providers in that we recognize our brand and our group of brands is not going to be successful unless our operators are successful. They're not just a flash in the pan, but we have to stand behind them. And we talk a lot about that in the initial conversation, certainly meet the team day when we get to that point. So as an example of culture, we pride ourselves in the fact that, we get a veteran that's interested in doing 1-800-Water Damage. Well, we thank them for their service, certainly, and we do that by offering them a 20% discount on their first territory. We have great in-house financing programs that we can use for the van and the equipment. And so we certainly cover all of this in great detail. We will also finance 50% of that first territory for anyone. They don't have to be a veteran, but 50% financing over the course of 3 years for that first territory. Because when we find that right person, we really don't have any problem putting some skin in the game to help them get into this industry.
That's really wonderful. And that is a massive differentiator. One, being part of BELFOR, the largest restoration company in the world, and then the amazing culture that you have to support and help your franchisees, just really unparalleled. So, Mark, help the audience understand, how does a franchisee spend their day? What are they doing?
Well, we've got different types of operational models that they can follow. An owner operator is just that. They're owning it and they're doing it. They're building relationships. But we also have some folks who have hired general managers. We have a couple of absentee operators. So scaling the business is really kind of up to them. And that's where the business coach comes in to help them structure that. Because after a certain period of time, certainly my time as a business coach, I want that owner working on the business instead of in the business. It's important that they come through the training so they can understand the operational procedures, how pieces of equipment work, how to prepare an estimate. But I want them out there creating the relationships so that people are going to do business with people that they know, they trust, and they like. So that's an underlying part of what works in this industry. So the executive model is very attractive. And that's where after about 4 months or so, 4 to 5 months, no more than 6, get off the truck, get out and meet the people. So we also, in the training, we like to have a blank canvas. Obviously, somebody with insurance background is going to be a great candidate, an agent or an adjuster, but anybody can learn this. So we're going to teach them who they're calling on, what are they saying, how are they overcoming objections. So insurance agents and adjusters and property managers and facility directors, real estate agents and plumbers and home inspectors, anybody out there that has firsthand knowledge of a water, smoke, fire, or mold situation and can point them in the right direction. If they have a relationship, people are much more inclined to take a referral or a suggestion from somebody. So business strategy is so important in this. And the only way that I can say this is you have to be a people lover. You have to like to meet people. You can't be afraid to turn to somebody and say, hi, my name's Mark Hargett. I have a restoration company called 1-800-Water Damage. The people who do the best in this industry are people. They love to help people, especially in a negative situation when that person's had a terrible situation in their home, which is their biggest financial investment. Wow. So again, 15 brands that we have here at BELFOR Franchise Group, and each one of those brands could in turn be able to refer work to each other as well as a 1-800-Water Damage operator.
So let me make sure that I and the audience understand, Mark. So are you saying that no particular industry background, work experience, career is necessary? Like you don't have to come from the construction business?
We find that anybody who's willing to learn and can be coachable and trainable and take suggestions, those people do very well. So it doesn't matter executive background, blue collar background. We're going to teach them. We're going to take that blank canvas and teach them. Certainly, if they have business knowledge, that's an advantage. If they working with their hands, that is an advantage. So there is no bad prospect out there that we can work and train.
As long as they're coachable and a people person.
Coachable and love to meet people.
All right, fantastic. Mark, please share with the audience a couple of examples of people who came from one industry or background or career and then became a franchisee of a restoration company and have done very well. Help them, relate to, could I do this?
Well, I mean, we've got people from all over. We've got an IBM executive that got tired of the corporate world. He's now our number 2 operator over the past 2 years. He wanted something that he could grow himself, build it, scale it, and he's incredibly successful. We have retired firemen. Obviously, we have some military people. The military folks do very well because they're used to a structure, and we help provide them a recipe or a structure that they follow, and they can be very successful at that. So the background, we have a wide ranging background. Plumbers, they got tired of being a plumber, wanted something else to do, like the regular type of an approach and not, being out at 2 o'clock in the morning. I think that, again, it doesn't matter the background as much as it matters, are you a people person? Because the motto is people are going to do business with people that they know, they like, and they trust.
I totally agree. And one of the things I do as a franchise advisor, Mark, is really get people off focusing on what I call the widget. They'll go, oh, I want to do a business I'm passionate about. Well, if you're passionate about helping people, then this is a great fit for you. But people go like, oh, I love golf. Do you have something golf related? It's like, wow, you're not going to be playing golf if you own a golf related business. You know, if you love chocolate, you're not going to be sitting there eating bonbons all day. And if you love to cook, you're sure not going to be in the kitchen, if you own a restaurant.
So, I mean, it's a great, great story. One of our sales guys was out playing golf, and he just happened to be playing golf with a couple of executive guys. And one of them started talking about a smell coming from his home. He couldn't figure out where it was coming from. And so our guy turned to him and said, look, that's what we do. We're 1-800 water damage. So he was invited to come over. And sure enough, they found a serious mold situation that the only way they found it was taking out a little bit of drywall and getting into a wall cavity that clearly had some really bad mold. So you never know. By turning to meet somebody in a grocery store line, you never know, that person could walk home and walk into a puddle of water and they have your business card. The chances of them calling you are astronomically high because you just met them and made a good impression with them.
So Mark, this podcast is called Smart Business Strategies. So I'm hearing the best smart business strategy anybody can have with 1-800 water damage is to go out and meet people and not be shy.
You can't be shy. You have to love to tell your story. It's one thing to love people, but then you have to turn it up a notch. And when someone has a water, smoke, fire, mold situation, especially a serious one, their emotions are pretty negative. They're distraught. Yeah. They're discouraged. Oh my gosh, how are we going to take care of this? The people who can take that energy and turn that around and turn it into a positive and say, hey, I'm trained to do this. This is just stuff. We got to get the house completely dry. If it's a water situation before repairs can be made, we can take care of this. If it's mold, we'll talk to you about the procedure. We're going to set realistic expectations. Look, problems come from poor communication, and the folks that we teach that communications are critically important. Whether you're telling a story to the insurance company with an estimate, or you're talking to a lady that doesn't understand what mold remediation is about. But communicating and taking that task on of setting an expectation and exceeding that expectation, that we do that very well. Clearly, we're doing something right. Our customer service and satisfaction reports, we're beating the entire industry right now. The best you can do is a 5.0. We're at a 4.92. So we're doing something right with our training, our follow-up, our technology, and our communication, which certainly eliminates a lot of problems.
That is really an amazing story, Mark. I'm so glad you shared it. We are out of time. If someone wants to learn more about 1-800 water damage or any of the BELFOR franchise brands, what do you recommend they do?
I recommend they contact Anna Wiles, because Anna knows everything there is to know about this, and she we do territory checks every day for 1-800 water damage. We have a lot of major markets that are still available. So I would start, the first step is get with Anna on this.
Well, thank you, Mark. I really do enjoy my work of helping people find the right match for them in franchising. Well, audience, this is Mark Hargett with 1-800 water damage, of BELFOR company. Mark, thank you so much for being here. You really shared some wonderful insights on your business.
Anna, thanks for having me. I hope everybody got something out of this.
They absolutely did. I certainly did. And audience, thank you for being here, for watching and listening. And be sure to come back next week. I'm going to interview somebody who went through my franchise selection vetting process and hear firsthand how this executive saw a franchise as his exit strategy and what his experience was like. I know you'll learn a lot about it. Do come back next Wednesday at 11:30. Make it a priority. You're not going to want to miss it. I'm Anna Wiles, the franchise economist. See you next Wednesday. Bye-bye.